Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Mead Ministry Channel. Hope y'all are doing well. Um, we are coming to you. So I just want to say I've been doing it all right in my weight loss regimen. Going to the gym, lifting. Do my weight lifting for Jesus. I got Jesus right with me. He's got his little clipboard and his whistle. He's with me. The other day I was feeling a little bit lightheaded. Ooh, and I drank some water. So Jesus tells me what's going on. Sometimes, like the machine was not reading my heart rate correctly, and he said try a different machine, and then it did. And then I was like, well, I feel all right. How come my heart rate is 190? So I'm doing really well, and of course I've been tested. I know people say you're crazy, but no, Jesus tells me what's going on, and if I have an emergency, he tells me to go to the hospital, tells me what's wrong, and he's the Holy Spirit speaking to me, and I feel much better about that. But no, folks, I'm doing my exercise. I feel great. I don't have any issues with exercise, weightlifting. Actually, I don't have any funny things going on. And sometimes I get these anxiety things that come from the enemy, but I rebuke it. I want to talk about something that doesn't really have a lot to do with ministry, but it has to do with the state of the world today. Customer service. Where is it? Okay, so I live in a part of the country where we really prided ourselves on customer service. You go in there, the box boy sacks your groceries, he takes it out to your car for you. The people are just ultra friendly, always helping you find things. You go to a real checkout line. The checker asks you how your day's going. People in line talk to you. You feel warm inside, like a Hallmark movie. Right now, there are still places left like that, but most of these chains that I go to, like Kroger's, is even happening at other places. There's just like McDonald's, for example, there's no customer service at all. You have to order everything through a kiosk, and then it's almost like when it's ready, it's not serviced with a smile. It's barely like, and I went into a Wendy's the other day because my sister wanted Wendy's, and she has an issue. She's mentally challenged and she's like 10 years old mentally. So I took her to Wendy's because she wanted a hamburger there. Went into Wendy's. Oh my goodness, folks. It looked like it hadn't been cleaned since 1985. It had water stains on the ceiling. But the worst part was the customer service was so lacking. It's like they didn't even say hello or kiss my foot or anything. And we got our food. I went to a Kroger's and I had an issue with my payment, because I did the Affirm, and so my phone wasn't working. Wouldn't go off. The boy that was doing it, Marshall, I think he must have been on drugs, but he kept tapping and tapping his fingers like num, 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 num. As he was very impatient, and when people make me nervous, I cannot focus. Okay, so I wanted to tell him to knock it off, but he didn't. But I didn't say that, because I respect service workers. They're just mindless drudges doing what they have to do. So I just sort of left it alone and said, well, I'm very sorry about that. And he said, well, no worries, man. But I could tell he was one of those pot smoking people. But the customer service was so lacking. I was like, oh my goodness, this is just terrible. And I just hate self-checkout. I hate going into these places where you have to check out yourself. You know why? Because it's a hassle. If something doesn't go right, you have to get the manager or whoever it is to fix the thing, like with their key fob or whatever they do, so that it will go through. If you make a mistake yourself, you have to get someone to come over anyway. So what is the point of self-checkout? Because we have to cater to these neurodivergent people who can't handle life and they can't go through the regular checkout. So we have to make everything special for them, because they can't handle someone talking to them in the grocery store line. And yes, people say, but Mead, aren't you one of those types of people? But I don't believe in it. I think it's hooey. Okay, I think that I just have generalized anxiety disorder, and it might present as autism, but I know that I'm not really autistic. Okay, maybe a little bit, but I was, product of a geriatric pregnancy, but The whole point is, where's customer service gone? Why are we losing our customer service, our human connection? And this was starting before COVID, but COVID really, threw it out the window. Oh, just don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to have riots in the street while you order DoorDash on your phone and get $10,000 in debt so people can give your contactless delivery, and you just get fatter and fatter at home, and you don't go anywhere. We shut down the churches. You can't go to church, but you can go riot in the street over a statue. That's fine. So that's the mentality we were given. And I feel like what they're doing, folks, is they're trying to go into that you own nothing and be happy mode. So you go to the store, nobody waits on you, nobody helps you. If they do, it's like they lament. It's lamentation. People hate their jobs. They just don't want to help you really. They act like you're a chore when you're their paycheck. And I hate to sound like a boomer, but the younger people really are miserable, insufferable to deal with. The Zoomers and the Alpha kids are just so insufferable that please give me a smiling, happy baby boomer who will get me to where I need to go, service with a smile, and I don't like dealing with these people. Okay? But I don't know what's like in y'all's neck of the woods, but you go to any big box chain store here, it's just there's no customer service. So, as I said before, they're trying to push us into communism. They took prayer out of schools in 1960s. And this is just another trip down the line where nobody wants to deal with anybody. People hate everybody. They hate people. Everyone hates everybody. They made it so that you don't want to deal with a person because that means you're talking to another human being. And it's not just delegated to the stores. This AI is taking over, like I call customer service on the phone. AI makes it harder and more complicated because they ask you a whole bunch of questions that are not relevant. And then one AI got stuck on a loop and he kept saying, I can't hear that. Can you repeat that for me? I can't hear that. Can you repeat that for me? I can't hear that. Can you repeat that for me? Over and over and over. So I had to hang up the phone. Then I had to, push the little phone button, call back and say, I want to speak to a representative. Get me a real person. And finally AI gave up and said, okay. But see, this is what they're doing, folks. They're trying to get us to hate each other and to be separated from each other so that when the SHIT hits the fan, you don't want to help anybody. You're in your own selfish little world. You got your self-checkout, your door dashes, your own little, keep apart mentality. And this is all to divide people and make them miserable. So that whenever this new regime takes over, you're just going to give up and say, oh, well, at least I get to stay home. And if you really knew how dangerous the world was, you wouldn't get out of bed. I mean, you would not leave the house if you really knew how dangerous it was. But anyway, have y'all noticed a lack of customer service in your area? And if so, does it kind of make you a little bit PO'd? Because aren't you just tired of, they've had self-checkout, I know, since 1984. They've had these things, but really they're making, like at Kroger's, there's like 2 lanes open. Everything else is self-service. It used to be, they would have about 8 lanes of normal people checking you out and then like 1 little dedicated lane for the introverts or the neurodivergents who had to check out themselves. But usually you had plenty of checkers. Hardly any checkers at the grocery store anymore, unless you go to one of those local chains like our local shops like I go to, where, they pride themselves on customer service. But almost every, like Kroger's and everything else, Targets, anything else, Walmart's, same deal. Rows and rows of self-checkout, only 2 checkers in the whole dang store. And it's just really, irritates me that this is what it's come to, is that now they're getting rid of customer service, they're putting people out of jobs, they're letting AI take over, and we're going to hate each other, and we're not going to defend our homes, our property. And did you know, folks, that over in jolly England, you cannot be a landowner, because the home you own is on someone else's property. You don't own that land. So your house is all you have. You don't have the property around it. We're so used to our freedoms in the United States of America where we can own our own land, we can own our property. But with these data centers coming in, and Virginia we lead the nation in data centers, they're taking people's property by eminent domain. So that, eminent domain basically means we're taking your stuff, whether you like it or not. We're going to pay you, but you can't keep your land. You can't keep your house. This is like something out of a dystopian nightmare. And I know people say, well, customer service seems so banal and so innocuous. It starts with little things like this, folks. It starts with a lack of customer service. It starts with a kiosk at McDonald's, and before you know it, you're living in a mud hut under Soviet regime. That's basically what it is. It's the little things, they tear down over time, so what's left is a horrible nightmare. So, if you don't think it's important, I just want you to realize that this is the steps in the process. Get people to reject God, get people indoctrinated in the schools, take away customer service, take away our oil, our natural gas, which is the healthiest, the most environmentally safe resource we have, replace it with electric cars, which don't work. So basically, you're stuck without a car, or you can't afford it. Who can afford an electric car? You might be able to afford an electric guitar, and I would like to get one myself soon. But these things, folks, are part of the agenda. Part of the agenda: destroy the nuclear family, make marriage impossible, no-fault divorce, and a lack of customer service. So, y'all reflect on that and be praying that we can get our customer service back, get rid of those kiosk things, and get back to what America's all about. Service with a smile. So, anyway, thank y'all for watching, folks. I hope y'all found this enlightening and edifying, and I will be making more videos in the future. And check out my website at meetskeltonsplace.com. And remember, folks, say a prayer for someone special today. Bye-bye.